In today's video, we take a look at the new Marvel Champions, a new LCG by Fantasy Flight Games. Let's take a look. In Marvel Champions, you battle as your favorite heroes in a cooperative card game for 1 to 4 players. Let's see, it gives your normal recommendation for the card sleeves that you will need, a overall content of the box, what a basic layout might look like, some nice artwork, and what's really nice is they do go ahead and tell you what the heroes that are going to be included here within the base are. And then, of course, the scanner. So if you wanted to scan that so you can see all of the cards, with that in mind, I will try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. So when I get to parts that I think are spoiler-esque, I'll probably put those cards off to the side. And then at the end of the video, go ahead and show all of the cards, because there's no reason not to. You'll probably be able to see them anyway. But at least that way, if you want to stay spoiler-free, you can. Or you can continue to watch the entire video and see absolutely everything. Rise to the challenge. Rhino rampages through the streets of New York. Claw masterminds a team of fearsome criminals. Ultron threatens nuclear annihilation. The world needs champions to stop these villains. Are you up to the task? Marvel Champions, the card game, is a cooperative living card game that invites you to embody the world's most iconic heroes. This core set allows up to 4 players to combine their efforts and thwart the twisted schemes of 3 different villains. Discover extraordinary powers, battle the forces of evil, and experience the Marvel Universe like never before. As a living card game, new heroes are revealed regularly, along with new villains, challenges, and adventures to test these champions. Well, this sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open and see what we have on the inside. All right. Up first, like normal, we have the rules, the learn to play, and its own separate reference sheet. So that'll be interesting. Okay, there we go. I've already started to see something that I like greatly. We will get to that in just a minute. Here on the back of the reference, or in the back of the rules sheet, there is a quick reference guide. We always love to see that. And of course, even better, a little icon representation. Because a lot of times, especially with card-based games, icons are pretty significant within the games. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. And here, right off the rip, we have a little bit of some lore for the game and a breakdown of all the card components. Looks like we have some point dials that are going to be able to be made for this game and how those are put together. Of course, it's not going to show you all of the cards here, but it does give you a breakdown of what all they are. Some statuses, the different types of tokens. Very nice. Now we start to get into the setup. Mid-game play area example. Interesting. And then some key components. Overview and the different phases. Here we're going into the player phase. Resource costs, again, breaking down those icons, always great. Showing what things do. I like the size of the font so far within the rule book. And it has a lot of good pictorial representations of what they are talking about. Then abilities, triggered abilities. It's nice to have that listed right there. And then the different cards. That's very cool, kind of a breakdown of all those different cards that we were looking at earlier. And the different starter decks for the different characters that you'll be able to play. And how to customize them. Very cool. Up next, we have a whole rules reference sheet. And when we get back to the main instructions being 24 pages and the rules reference being another 24 pages. I kind of like that this is broken up into two so you are not overwhelmed. And here we have a great index of all the powers and where they are within the book. A much more detailed version of this one. Looks like without all of the pictures. This is pretty awesome. To get something like this. This is definitely so when you're playing and as you need to review and go back to it, this would be a very easy way to see where that is. Being able to go back into that index, look up the mechanic that you're looking for, and then flip through here and go to all the different sections that talks about that mechanic. That is pretty awesome. And being a card game, you're usually dealing with a lot of new, unique, separate actions between heroes, cards, enemies, so forth and so on. So having such a great detailed reference like this really is going to be useful in learning the game, especially in playing it when it comes to going back and having to look something up to get a little more verification on how it is done. And this right here is really nice. A really great breakdown right here, anatomy of all the cards, numbered out so you can see where they all are, see where things match up. You can see multiple probably number twos, multiple number twos, so forth and so on. So you can see where commonalities between all the different cards are as well. That's really nice. And then here's some more, an anatomy of your scenario cards. Very cool. And then, of course, that index with all its page number glory. Next, we have the tokens. Let's see if we can break into this fairly easily without having to stop the clock. Oh, yes. All right, we got into that. That wasn't too bad. There we go. And up first, we have the different dials that you are making. By the looks of it, you have the one big one for your villain, and you will have 4 because it is a 1 to 4 game. So you can have 4 for your characters. And then a couple little guys here, +1. And I'm guessing, yep, here on the other side is where we actually have the numbers. Let's see how you pop. Oh, that popped great. Very nice. Very nice. And then all the other additional tokens within the game. And so let's head back. Something I like to try to do. Here we go. So we can see we have the damage tokens. And this is nice. I like that we have lots of different damages. So we have 1s, 3s, 5s. So it allows us not to have just an enormous supply. Threat tokens right here again with your multiple sizes. And all-purpose counters. Acceleration tokens. Interesting. And then first player token. Very cool. Then we have all of the little connectors to be able to make those dials. Next, we have our different cards. Now, one thing that I do notice is here they have a nice insert with little slots by the looks of it for you to put here, but I don't see actual dividers, which means they're probably going to try to sell you that after the fact. Whereas, say, the Arkham Horror line, they sold return to boxes, which provided dividers and a box. It looks like with this one, they are trying to go with this base game being able to support the game going forward a lot better. So I'm guessing they will just later on come out with dividers that you can buy if you do not have some of your own. Well, let's go ahead and start with these. They are your status cards. And again, we have that nice blue dot that seems to come and go to let us know that these are the English equivalent of these cards. Let's see. These are just different stuns effects. Let's see. The next time this character would attack, discard this status. The next time this character would attack, discard the status. So it is the same on both sides. Confused and tough. So these look like they are identical cards. So let's just a bunch of them. So we have the stun. We have tough. And finally, you can be confused. All right. Now let's go ahead and break these out. So by the looks of it, we have, oh no, never mind. I was thinking maybe with these little ones, they would have been the different heroes, and then the two big ones would have been the villains, but nope, it doesn't look like that at all. Let's go ahead and open these. Are they easy to open? They do not appear to be. Just one second. Okay, I've opened up all the packs and broke them down into a understandable size. We will be going through all of these cards. First, we have the reference type cards. The game goes ahead and pre-orders and gives you some starting deck cards for Spider-Man and Captain Marvel. Then it gives you 3 additional heroes where you have She-Hulk, Iron Man, and Black Panther. Then you have all of the additional hero cards that you would be using, and then all of the villain cards and scenario cards. This is the one I will be saving for last. I will give a nice little pause. I will probably put a little screenshot of this right here. We'll probably sit there for about 5 seconds to give the person, or to give you the chance to stop the video if you wish. And then I will get into looking through these ones. This right here is where all of your spoiler is going to happen. These are your cards where you are free to customize it as you see fit. Again, these 2 right here are starter decks, so they have all of your Spider-Man and Captain Marvel cards, as well as a recommended starting cards for those characters. So you will see some duplication, like you can see right here off the rip. This Captain Marvel, this card is both in here and up here because you might need to use it, say, for Tony Stark, if you were to build him a deck. One of the things to keep in mind, as with all of these living card games, is how many of these games are you going to want or need to get? Well, like all of them, you have cards like, here we go. Here's a couple examples. the three, what I will call the power cards within this set. Of course, we will take a stronger look at them when we get to this deck or this stack of cards, where these are limited to 1 per deck, where normally you can have up to 3 cards per deck. So I'm guessing that those cards are going to be pretty powerful, and you're probably going to want one of them in every deck you build. Since you only get 2 of each, you can have up to 4 people playing. That might be a reason alone why you might be interested in getting 2 copies of the game, or at least looking online to see if you can't maybe piecemeal just a few extra cards. All right, well, first up is our reference cards. Villain phase reference, onto the hero phase reference. And I'm betting there's just 4 identicals for those. Yep. There that is. Up next, we have our Spider-Man deck. Here we have, it's more of a reference card, but just to let you know that this is the Spider-Man starter deck. I kind of wish they would have gone ahead and made one of these cards for all of the heroes within the game. Just a default starter deck for everybody would have been nice, and to have this card so you could very quickly and easily have made one. But you only have the ones for Spider-Man and Marvel. Should we stay? There we go. That works. And here it is. And here we have our hero. These heroes are double-sided. So here we have our secret identity, which are Peter Parker. And on the other side is Spider-Man. The next are all just going to have your Marvel back. And as you can see, there are multiples of a lot of these. Again, where you can have your max count of 3. So we are seeing 3 of a lot of those. There's 2 of that one. But again, this gives a reason why you might want to get 2 of these. Because there might be a third one of those here in, the other pack. But as of right now, we're just seeing the 2. So if it does have where we only have the 2, again, that might be why. Now those are our Spider-Man specifics. We can see those right here. Now we're getting to our more universal cards. These are the ones that you would probably trade out more. And I'm guessing by the different colors, we have different overall arcing types of cards. And then here we have, oh, there's a third one. Because remember, this was one of our power cards. There was 2 left over. So there's 1 here in the Spider-Man. So maybe there are 4. Maybe there is. Maybe, and here's another one. Maybe you will only need to get 1 of the base games. If that is the case, that is pretty awesome. I like that a whole lot. It was always kind of annoying with, say, Arkham Horror, how especially to play multiple heroes effectively, you really wanted to get multiples of that starters. I was lucky, and I got into that game kind of towards the end, so I had a bunch of the expansions which added on. But here it looks like they are providing a bunch of those needed cards where you're getting 4s of everything. It'll be interesting to see if some of those other Spider-Mans are here in the other main deck of cards, and to see if Marvel has those power cards to bring you up to that 4 count, to where you would only need the 1 starter. Very cool. Next up, we have the Captain Marvel starting deck. Once again, her being one of the cards that has this starting deck card with the cards that are in that suggested starting deck. Again, we have the double-sided identity card, secret identity card, and then her hero card. So there is our Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel. And now, once like Spider-Man, they will all just be the standard Marvel back. So we can start flipping through these. And you can always tell when you're looking at a character-specific card because it has that character icon there at the bottom where these ones are saying basic. And then, yep, there's that power card, power card, power card. Yep, so they do give you the 4. So you would only need to get the 1 starter. I am very happy with that they aren't kind of forcing you to get 2 of them to be able to get all of the different starters that you need. And then next up we have She-Hulk. Their secret identity and then hero card. And then these, of course, will just now be her specific cards. Again, we can tell that with her logo or icon on the bottom. Next up, we have Tony Stark's Iron Man, his hero and secret identity card. And that is Iron. And our final hero in the game is T'Challa, or the Black Panther. Again, with his hero and secret identity card. And that is Black Panther. And the final set of hero cards is this just standard universal cards, which you will use to customize your decks and to build the starting decks for all of the additional heroes. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. This is also giving you a chance to see exactly how many of each one are in here by being able to see and count the duplicates if you needed 1 to 2. And those are all of our more universal cards. And it is intermission. Before I get into the more spoiler type cards, I thought we would do a quick build for the hero dial. The villain is exactly the same, just a little larger. You do want to make sure you get the correct numbers, because you want to make sure that they line up to the window. So you're going to want them so they're facing correctly. They come with lots of these little connector bits that just disconnect very easily. Let's go ahead and take these apart. Let's stick that on the bottom. Stick you in here, probably. Yep, it's a nice tight fit. There we go. Same thing with the other side. Fit that in there. That. And like so. Put our caps on. And there it is. 2, 1. And that is how you put together the hero dial. Like with the heroes, we kind of have 2 sections of cards. The first one is a Rhino starting deck with a Rhino reference starting deck card and reference of how to build that. Pre-built, ready to go, and then all of the additional cards, all of your additional scenarios, villains, so forth and so on. And it looks like you can even make it more difficult. By here you can already see this upgraded Rhino, which is not part of the starter deck. Well, let's first take a look at this starter deck right here for the Rhino. And now the backs are probably just going to be all Marvel backs. Yep. Once again, spoiler warning, only watch this if you really want to see all of the cards. And by the looks of it, so it looks like we have a couple different card backs. And I'm kind of glad I did that, because this one, there we go. This one has an alternate back and front. Again, probably has to do with the story. That is the Rhino base deck. Bam. And here is all the rest of the villain cards. Once again, spoiler warning. You might see stuff here that you would not want to see if you want to play the game and say spoiler free and not have an idea of what is coming. And then just to make sure we didn't miss any, here we go. We have and what was the other one? Here we go. All right. Just 3 more. And those are all of the villain cards. Well, that was Marvel Champions, the new LCG by Fantasy Flight Games. I hope this helped you to determine if this is something that you would be interested in getting for yourself. I especially like the fact that you only need the one starter to really feel comfortable with playing this game and to be able to build multiple decks, to actually be able to build 4 hero decks. I like that a lot, which kind of makes me wonder why they didn't go ahead and make 4 default decks with at least four of those default cards. I again would have preferred to have one for all 6, I believe, of the heroes of a default deck with a default card. Even if they didn't go ahead and pre-arrange it, just to have that card, I really do like that card. Once again, I hope this helped you determine if it is something you were interested in, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.